All right, it's Q here with the Buckeye Blitz. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Got a lot to get into. We'll start off with Ohio State's loss to Michigan. Look, it was 45-23, but the score was a lot closer than that. Quinius Johnson had a 69-yard touchdown pass and a 75-yard touchdown pass from J.J. McCarthy. Donovan Edwards had runs of 75 and 85 yards for scores. Look, big plays are fluky, okay? You can't count on having big plays to carry you to a win. It was 45-23 with those four big plays. Big plays it just doesn't happen that often. It was a perfect storm for Ohio State to lose with those big plays Michigan was able to execute. Questionable play calling by Ohio State, and also just panic and stupid penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, dumb penalties for Ohio State. All of that happened in the same game. I think if Ohio State and Michigan were going to play on a neutral site, the Buckeyes would still be favored, despite that 45-23 loss. I think the Buckeyes are still the better team. So a couple things about that game, though. It is now back-to-back years that Michigan's defeated Ohio State by double-digit points in the rivalry. That has not happened since 1946 to 1948 when the Wolverines did it 3 times. But it was a tough loss for Ohio State, no doubt about it. Now, my problem, though, is some of the aftermath. And seeing fans that want Ryan Day out, thinking that it's time to move on from Ryan Day. It's ridiculous talk. And let me put it this way. It's ridiculous talk if all you care about, win at all costs, doesn't matter. I don't care I don't care if it's Urban again, who does shady shit, and he did do some shady shit at Ohio State and Florida, okay? You don't care about any of that stuff. I understand why you want Ryan Day gone. I'm telling you, Ryan Day is the right man for this job. Excuse me. He's the right man for this job. He is what a college football head coach should be. He does win. Does he win every game? No. Most of the games, yes. He's lost 2 in a row to Michigan. He 1-2 against the Wolverines. Would have been 2-2 if Michigan had wussed out of that game in the COVID year when they would have played here against the Wolverines in Columbus. He's got 5 losses. He is 45-5. 2 losses in Michigan. The loss to Clemson. The loss to Alabama in the championship game. And the loss to Oregon in 2021. That's the 5 losses. 45-5. They still might make the playoff this year. If Utah beats USC or if Kansas State beats TCU, I think Ohio State will get into the playoff. Maybe have another shot against Michigan. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. So I'm not going to panic yet. There's been articles written about, maybe Mike Vrabel should be the guy to come and take Ohio State and help them out. I am not ready to pull the cord on Ryan Day. He is a tremendous college football coach. NFL teams will still come calling for him. Look, Ohio State, I know they lost by 22 at home. They were in this game late. The big plays did it in. I would love to see Ohio State get another crack at Michigan in the CFP and see what Ohio State could do at that point. All right, let's switch gears now. Oh, by the way, the 12-team playoff, we'll talk about that also real quick. Coming into play in 2024. Next year, still a 4-team playoff. And the 12-teamer comes in 2024 where conference champs and auto bids, the best group of 5 team gets in there, and then some wild cards added in as well. I love this. And I love the way it's set up to where 4 teams will get buys. If you're the 5 through the 8 seed, you get to host a home playoff game. As much as I want Ohio State to have a bye every year, I would love to see a home playoff game for Ohio State as like a 5 or a 6 seed if that ever came to fruition, with USC now joining and UCLA. Luke Fickell getting the job at Wisconsin. By the way, about the Fickell thing, I think that Fickell must have believed that the next 3 years, the Ohio State job would not be open for him. And maybe Fickell's people knew that, look, Ryan Day might be gone, but Fickell wouldn't be the one who comes on board. It might be Vrabel, whatever. But Fickell must have had a reason to think that the next 3 years, the Ohio State job doesn't open up. I think he would have loved to have had the Ohio State job. I think that's why he turned down the options at Notre Dame and Michigan State. I think he wants the Ohio State job. He now must believe that the job is not going to be open to him in the next several years. Maybe it's because they think Day will still be there. Maybe Fickell's people think that Vrabel will be the next coach there. For whatever reason, it looks like That's what Fickell had to believe to take the job at Wisconsin, which essentially takes him out of the running for an Ohio State job in the future. All right, let's move on to hoops. Ohio State men lost to Duke. They lost 81-72. The 25th ranked Buckeyes losing on the road to 17th ranked Duke. Buckeyes fall to 5-2. Zed Key had 21 points in 8 rebounds. Sean McNeil hit some big shots like he has done lately. Finished with 14. Bryce Sensabaugh was a non-factor. The freshman who's been a stud all year long. Played just 14 minutes, scored 4 points before he fouled out. OSU actually led this game 22-20 with 8:39 left in the first half after Isaac Likely made a layup. But Duke kind of took control after that. OSU did get to within 52-47 with 8:39. I'm sorry, with a three-point play. Again, at 59-54 after a Zed Key layup with 9:25 left. It was a three-point play on that. Three-point play, 52-47. Then a layup, 59-54 with 9:25 left. Sean McNeil made a three-pointer, make it 72-67. Just 0 minutes left in the game there. But that's the closest Ohio State could get. Duke played a great game. Ohio State looked like a team that was still trying to gel. The Buckeyes will get a small break here with St. Pennsylvania on the schedule Saturday. They host Rutgers on December 8th before they take on North Carolina in Madison Square Garden in the CBS Sports Classic on December 17th. This was the end of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. The SEC Challenge starts taking place next year. Both those entities are ESPN properties now going forward. This is the end of the Big Ten with ESPN exclusively. So Big Ten moving over to Fox, but the SEC ACC Challenge will take place next year. On the women's side, the Ohio State women, fourth-ranked team in the country, they defeated 18th-ranked Louisville 96-77, completely dismantled them. The Buckeyes trailed 45-37 at the half, outscored the Cardinals on the road. Again, on the road, 59-32 in the last two periods of the game. Taylor Mikesell had 26 points, 4 of 8 on three-pointers. J.C. Sheldon had 22. Madison Green had 14 points and 6 assists off the bench. The Buckeyes had 15 three-pointers. I'm telling you, watch this Kevin McGuff team. They are going places. I've always said they're a Sweet 16 team. I'm starting to lean towards maybe Elite 8 Final Four. Fourth-ranked team in the country, undefeated, 7-0. The Buckeyes played a tough Big Ten. There's a lot of good teams in the Big Ten on the women's side, but they're 7-0. They take on Rutgers Sunday. And now I want to leave you with something else, by the way. But follow the women Buckeyes. I'm telling you, we'll talk more about Kevin McGuff and this team as the season goes on. They're going to be fun to watch. If you're in the Columbus area, go watch them play. It's an easy ticket to get. You can get down close and watch them. McGuff's team plays hard. They've got great leadership on this team, and I can't wait to see what they do. Now, it might be depressing the Michigan game. That's okay. Tomorrow night, Friday night. Tonight, I would say, by the time you see this, Friday night, USC takes on Utah in the Pac-12 championship game. Root hard for the Utah Utes. They beat USC once already. If they beat them again, Ohio State's in the CFP. No doubt in my mind. TCU plays Saturday against Kansas State. If Kansas State wins that, there's a chance Ohio State would pass them. We'll see. OSU at 5, though. Alabama at 6 in the CFP. Sets up great for Ohio State. I do think one of these two teams will lose. USC most likely. We'll find out on Friday and Saturday in the conference championship games. Michigan's going to roll Purdue. Georgia's going to roll LSU. They'll be in the playoff as well. But if you're looking for something to watch to maybe cheer you up, go find the Ohio State-Iowa game from 1995 at Ohio Stadium. Buckeyes had Bobby Horn quarterback, Eddie George running back, the late, great Terry Glenn at wide receiver. The Buckeyes beat Iowa that day 56-35. You might think, oh, a lot of points to give up. It was 56-0 when there was one play left in the second quarter when Iowa scored. Ohio State almost was up 56 at halftime against Iowa. Iowa was coming in as a good team also. The Buckeyes dominated. Go watch the first half of that game. Sean scored on an interception return for touchdown. Greg Belisari, not Steve, Greg, had 2 interceptions on the defensive side. Glenn had 3 for like 149, 2 touchdowns. Eddie George had 15 carries, I think for like 113 yards, a couple of scores in the first half. But it was 56 when Iowa scored on the last play of the first half on a play that wasn't a touchdown. Go back and watch it. Buckeye fans, I'm telling you, so many things out there you can watch on YouTube, old Buckeye games that will bring you joy, even though you might be depressed right now. Michigan lost. It was closer than 35-23. All right. Root again for Utah on Friday. Root for Kansas State over TCU on Saturday. And we'll see if the Buckeyes can get in. This has been the Buckeye Blitz. I'm Jeff Tito Thidoff. Follow me on Twitter @ThitHappen. And we have so much more to get into tomorrow. And we'll follow things with the Ohio State football team as we root for some of these other schools to get the job done for the Buckeyes and get them into the playoffs. Follow me on Twitter again @ThitHappens. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day.